we gonna skip the normal 30-second me talking before we get the video started, because the first page of this comic book just got me going. My name is Dorian, this is SEM Comics. We are continuing our cover to the Fall of X with X-Men Red number 17. Our story begins with that person right there being Vulcan, Gabriel Summers, and Apocalypse just resurrecting him. Now, the last time we see Vulcan, whoo, man, can you even consider it a fight? So this dude Vulcan decides that he was going to challenge Torn for a seat on the Great Ring. Now, Vulcan is very brash and arrogant. Torn is very brash and arrogant, but there's levels to this. See, Rough Riders Volume 2, World War III, they said it best. There's industry, and then there's in the streets. See, once their powers canceled each other out, Gabriel thought he was just going to knuckle up with Torn, you know, like he was about that life. Arakko might as well be the projects, because that's where Torn came from. And Gabriel landed the first punch.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
It is 2 pages of a epic whooping. Torn hit Gabriel in his jaw and he was talking gibberish. I mean, that he might as well have been a baby talk. And then Gabriel tries to throw another punch. Torn caught it and then broke his arm in half. He took his head and slammed it into the ground, and then he went to work on him. I mean, every punch he landed, all I can hear in my head as I'm reading it, I mean, I would say he beat him within an inch of his life, but he took that inch. Gabriel Summers is dead in that hole that Torn beat him into. So when I see Vulcan just floating there, he's like, "Tell me, am I supposed to be your death?" I'm just looking at him like,
shut up.
And Apocalypse was kind of doing the same thing. He's pretty much looking at him like, calm down, homie. It ain't that deep and you ain't that tough. But he does put a binding spell on him because he knows Vulcan's going to give him an issue. And Vulcan's like, how dare you? I was a king amongst men. And again, Apocalypse just kind of look at him like, shut up. And then we cut to the next page and we see Apocalypse, Demon's Familiar, and this cloak dude is pretty much doing the same thing, just telling Vulcan to shut up. Now, if you watched my last video, X-Men number 28, then you know who this is. For those of you who didn't, you're about to find out momentarily. Now, they know Apocalypse was planning to do something, and they're using the different elements. Now, they're assuming that Storm is going to be one of the elements, and she's going to be air, and Apocalypse cuts them off like, no, Storm is not an element. Storm is actually going to be the magic. So on the next page, I'm not going to lie, it's looking bad. Genesis forces are winning, and pretty much Storm's forces has been pushed back to the point to where they're all huddled up into this one section of Arakko. And Uranos, because she's holding the trigger, is constantly talking to her. And then out of nowhere, all you hear is, give it to me. And that's Ironfire. He's like, give me the trigger. And Storm's like, I don't think you realize what that means. And Ironfire's like, I know exactly what that means. That means we're going to win. And Storm's like, look, he's going to kill everybody under Genesis. Everybody. And John's like, I know the 100 march underneath her. I know my general is underneath her, and they can't be saved. He's pretty much like, this is the best course of action, because otherwise we can't win. So Storm's pretty much like, you know what? Bump this. Take some lightning and fries the trigger. And Uranos is like, your choice. I hope you don't regret it. And then she hands John the trigger. So obviously this pisses John off, and him and Storm start arguing some more. But then we find out what happened to Richard Rider. So in X-Men Red number 16, Pestilence shot an arrow at Storm. Richard Rider got in the way of it, and that's why he looks like 10 miles of bad road right now. So Sunspot's pretty much telling her that the only thing keeping him alive is the Nova Force, and he's put himself in a kind of like self-inducing coma to deal with the pain, but they don't know if he's ever going to be able to come out of that. Like I said before, it's not looking good for the home team, but all of a sudden all you hear is, he's here, and it's Apocalypse. So the Sunspot's thinking that Genesis is playing her final card and it's Apocalypse. And Storm's like, hold on, calm down. If he was on Genesis' side, then he'd have been here from the start. And then Death's like, Father. And Apocalypse turns around and is like, Death, you chosen this side, huh? You impressed me. So then he's telling Apocalypse how he had to take out Pestilence, you know. He had to keep up the honor of Arakko. And he's like, do you even care? And Apocalypse, he's still kind of passive aggressive. He goes, life teaches. You have learned. Continue your lessons. And the Storm comes down. She's like, Apocalypse, you don't stand with Genesis? And Apocalypse, being Apocalypse, pretty much goes, I will not stand against her, nor would I stand aside. This world deserves more than what she's offering. It needs magic, and it needs you. So then we cut to Blue and the 100, or should I say 99. And John Irefire catches up to him, and they start talking all kinds of mess to John Irefire. And he's like, look, you say what you want, but I'm here to stop you. And Blue, the general, is like, what are you going to do against my 99? Now, this is like a John Irefire out of Sins of Sinister, because he goes, 99, huh? And one comes run up on him, he stabs him, he goes, 98, stabs another one, 97, stabs another one, 96. And then they start taking him real seriously, and they surround him. He just staring there, he goes, do I hear 95? So now we cut back to Apocalypse with Storm. And Apocalypse is like, so Urano stays in his bottle? And Storm's like, he offered the illusion of clean hands, but I knew that was a lie. The blood on my hands I can accept, but it must be about my hands. And at least I know when to stop. And Apocalypse goes, yes, that's what we tell ourselves. Because Apocalypse knows. Like, Apocalypse has been the villain. He's been in that position. He knows once you start killing and you feel like, oh, well, I know when to stop. No. Once you get that bloodlust, you can just keep on going. So now they walk over to this magic circle, and he's like, look, this magic circle, I thought my kids would be here. But unfortunately, only one is showing any kind of promise, and I lost one of them. So life, you gotta roll with the punches and you gotta adapt. So that's why you guys are here. So then the guy with the hood on goes, hello, Aurora. And then he takes off, and we see that it's Sunfire. If you guys watched the last video, you already knew that. And he still has a red root attached to him. And he pretty much tells, yeah, I got red root, but if I detach her, I'm gonna die. So then Apocalypse brings over Vulcan, and I mean, he comes over kicking and screaming. And he sees Storm, and he goes, you imprisoned me here, buried me alive under solid rock. Storm's like, only Krakoa gave you amnesty, Gabriel. The billions dead by your hands will call what we did mercy. And then Vulcan goes, once I'm free of this blue freak, the billions that I killed would seem like fractions. That will be my mercy. Again, Storm was there for what happened. So I know she gotta be looking at this dude like,
shut up.
Do you want me to get Tarndy uncaring?
Come over here, put his damn hands on you again.
You know, she say that, Vulcan gonna be like,
Oh, you gonna get Steve, huh? You are something else. Give me the trash. I'll take trash out.
no, Vulcan don't want to see him again. So pretty much Apocalypse is representative of water. His familiar, that demon, is going to be representative of air. Red Root and Sunfire is going to be representative of earth. And Loudmouth is going to be representative of fire. So Apocalypse starts doing this thing. All this stuff starts to funnel into Storm, and she starts seeing some trippy stuff. But then we cut to Genesis, and she's talking to Sabuna. And Sabuna is like, Genesis. And she's just talking all kinds of mess. All her plans that she's going to do. And he's like, Genesis. And she still starts talking all kinds of mess. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and once we take over, and he's like, Genesis, look over there. And all you see is this big, huge, monstrous island that I guess Storm used the magic that Apocalypse gave to her to raise his island. It's called Kurak. I think I pronounced it right. And Storm's like, Genesis, you speak for Arakko? Then raise your island and come face me. Now Genesis has been a cold-blooded this whole war. I mean, ice water in her vein. Do you see a look on her face? That is the first time I've ever seen Genesis look worried.
Shut up.